Hey everybody, Force Comic News is brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Fortress of Comic News. If you enjoy our content, you like what we're doing here, you like the growth that we're making, and love the future that we have coming, go over to Patreon.com/Fortress Comic News. Throw us a buck or two. You'll get into our Slack channel. You get into the basically Insiders Club. I'm there all the time. I'll let you know what's going on, what the future of Fortress Comic News is, where we're heading, what's coming up, anything. And if you have any questions whatsoever, I try to answer as many as I can, if not all. So if you have an extra buck or two, throw it over there. We really appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, it's time for comics. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress Comic News, episode number 56.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Chris.
And it's me. It's Mike. It's your favorite host out of the two. I know you guys like me.
Yeah, I'm
just kidding. They probably like you more. They're like, Chris does all the work. What are you talking about? You're just there, you piece of shit. Do something. You don't even know anything about comics. What do you know about comics? You pitch these stupid ideas. Why do we even listen to the show?
So, damn. I have been recently, I've challenged myself with something, and it's been really inspired by this show and what we've been doing.
Yeah?
So I am challenging myself with writing my own comic.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't want to get too much into what it is, because I'm still partway through the first issue, but my quick tone to it is it's Pokemon meets The Walking Dead.
You know what? Okay, so when you read the hold on, when you get the previews books, if anybody has ever read the comic previews books, you open up the page, and I think it's Boom Comics that does this. Which is kind of relevant because the guest we have today writes for Boom right now. But if you don't know, if it's a creator-owned property and they're like, what it's like, and it says we talked about this before. It's it's the Terminator meets Harry Potter. It's like, wait, what? It's yeah, I like these things separately, but when you put them together, it's I don't know, ketchup and grapes. I don't know. But no, I'm not trying to knock you. That's cool, man.
It's going to make for some great moments. But I'll keep everyone updated on that because I am almost done with the first issue, the first draft.
Do the characters represent people you know in real life? Is it a? I'm just trying to get in this book,
It's okay. I'll give out the story. It's
you don't have to give it all away yet. I think we can save it for
kind of the backstory that leads into the first issue. This is all trademarked by Crisco.
Crisco. Oh, that's a great name, Crisco. Oh, like Crisco, but it's Crisco. Oh, yeah, damn, dude.
I got it done.
You're already a writer. You didn't even know it. You have ideas. I'm so happy for you, Nick Ropes.
So this is where the story came from. As one does, I was playing Pokemon and overthinking the plot of Pokemon way too much. Yeah. And then I was just I'm gonna watch some Pokemon anime. So I started watching Pokemon anime, and I was thinking about how in the original anime, Meowth is the only Pokemon that can talk, and it always bothered me. And then I just started thinking, what if Meowth was just super intelligent, and then he's working for this evil crime organization? So there's something nefarious going on there. So what if Meowth decided I'm going to start a revolution, and we're going to overthrow all of the trainers, and just start brutally murdering them and taking over? And that's kind of where the story goes. Is now everyone's kind of on the outskirts, trying to live in this world where they know that if they go out, the
Pokemon will kill them?
Yeah, the Pokemon are there, and they have to defend themselves from them.
That is a post-apocalyptic, horror movie style, but, it's like every enemy has. Oh man, like, oh no, you can't go out there. Like Blastoise uses water cannon. No, and, like, you get torn to shreds from the water pressure. Oh my god!
But then, for obvious reasons, I can't use straight Pokemon.
Yeah,
you know,
come on.
So kind of creating a world, and very, very loosely, not loosely at all, based on the Pokemon universe. So, yeah, that's been fun. That's what I've been doing for the past week.
That's awesome. I'm really proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Do you have someone to draw it yet?
No.
We'll talk about it. I got some ideas. I could tell you some people.
Okay. But yeah, we got a big show.
I don't know anyone. Yeah, we got a big show ahead of us. We got a special guest today, folks. Are you excited? I can hear your applause from across the country. There it is. Do you hear it? Ryan Ferrier. Is that?
Yeah, I think that's right.
He's a great writer. He does a bunch of stuff for IDW, Boom Comics. He has some creator-owned stuff. So we got a great show for you today with interview with that young feller. Great stuff. But now we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna get into the news. Usually we're so used to not having so much stuff to talk about that we just talk about like, what was weird in your week this week? I don't know. But we got some movie news. Apparently there's a Black Widow movie in production, which is interesting because they won't even make a Black Widow toy.
Well, now they gotta.
Now they gotta be like, if the Black Widow movie gets made and they still don't release the Black Widow toy, like that's messed up. See, it's blatantly obvious.
That's the type of thing, if I was working at Disney, I would do just to be an asshole.
Yeah.
The new Black Widow line with Captain America.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, people have been wanting this movie forever, and with Wonder Woman, yeah, it was bound to happen.
It makes sense, and it's not like Scarlett Johansson has had a few movies where she's like the main lead, right? I mean, she's done the one where she turns into a flash drive. Remember that one, Lucy? Was that movie?
Oh yeah, she did Lucy. She did Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. So she definitely can do this. I don't, I'm actually, I'm kind of excited for this because like all the other characters, like their backgrounds are they're very comic book, but hers was like they were trained from birth to murder people, which is like this is gonna be awesome. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, I mean any character with the right creative team, or in this case, creative department, can be done well. So, hope for the best.
Tim Miller is connected to the new Kitty Pryde solo movie, which I guess that kind of announced I think we already announced the Kitty Pryde solo movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I feel about a Kitty Pryde movie to begin with.
Well,
but for those of you who don't know, Tim Miller is the guy who he directed Deadpool, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so it makes sense that he'd be connected to the movie. But what do you think? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
My initial thought is this movie will never come out.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't want to be rude, but yeah.
I feel like Marvel wants to start over with X-Men. At least I would if I were them. I would want to continue this, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with continuity in X-Men. So I think this is something that was in process with Fox and will quickly be squashed. But if it does happen, I mean, people like Deadpool, and Tim Miller is a talented director, so I'm sure he'll do a good job. But personally, I have no affection for Kitty Pryde, so...
Yeah,
it's one of those kind of head scratching for me, but I do know a lot of people who are huge Kitty Pryde fans. So,
really,
oh yeah,
I guess it's just something we don't understand, like the whole ponies thing.
It's like you said earlier, there's a comic book for everyone, man.
Yep, earlier, but then it's going to be in the future. You're going to hear me say that because, yep, we did it again. We messed with the timeline.
Oh, I messed with the timeline.
Messed with the timeline.
See, I give
it's hard when you record an interview and then you got to splice it in between two pieces of time. It's like dude.
You know, I've been given on this show. I've been giving Barry Allen shit for like 3 years now, and I apologize, Barry.
You just broke the timeline. I don't know when is now is my question. Am I even here? I don't know.
Dude.
Okay, so yeah, I know. Think about that for a second. I hope you're not driving for that because that'll just blow your mind. So we all know Joss Whedon's doing a Batgirl movie, which we're all super pumped for. It's basically going to be Buffy, and she's going to be in a costume. But the piece of news that made it this week is Lindsay Lohan wants to be Batgirl.
I've always wanted a coked up Batgirl.
Yeah. So I was going to say, we have a recovering drug addict hero. His name's Red Arrow. That was a mean joke. But all I could, when I saw this piece of news, all I could think of was like, when was the last time I saw Lindsay Lohan? And the last time I saw her, like, I mean, not like on the news, like doing drugs. I mean, like in something where she was acting. Was if anybody's ever seen the movie Machete,
Yes.
There's a scene. I don't know. I think it's
Machete 2.
2 Machete. Yeah, Machete Kills. Is that the second one? There's a scene where like he has a threesome with like her and her mom in a pool. The main character, Donnie Trejo. But that's all I remember. I mean, that's all I remember of Lindsay Lohan ever. I mean, besides like the whole, what the hell? What was the Parent Trap? Was those movies?
Parent Trap, the Freaky Friday, and the
Freaky Friday.
Dragon.
Yeah. And wow, you know a lot of
Love Bug.
Are you reading your DVD shelf right now? Like, is this your collection? What is going on? Yeah, it's right in
Shrine.
I don't know. I don't think she'll. I mean, hey, what a great story though if she does like her comeback, right?
Yeah, I don't see it happening though.
I don't know. Okay, so TV surprise, Walking Dead has been renewed for a 9th season.
I'm shocked.
Didn't see this coming. I'm upset. You know, I'm upset that AMC had the balls to do this. Honestly, I don't know how long they're going to keep people interested. They might just. I would say they would want to finish maybe on that season. I've heard the viewership has gone down a lot this season compared to the last few. So,
well, with that news too, they announced a new showrunner. So I feel like they're going to wrap up the Negan stuff, and he's going to kind of take it in his own direction. And we'll talk about the comic later. But if they start heading towards where the comic is, it could kind of reinvigorate the whole show.
Yeah, I think it could turn people like. You need to spark the conversation from people that are still watching it to the people that stopped watching and be like, oh, but this happened, and whatever you say there is going to be like, holy shit, that was so crazy what you just said that I got to go back and watch the show. That takes a lot to get that fan base back.
I've heard all of the fan base is down, the viewership is down, blah blah. But then every time a mid-season break or a season premiere comes, it still tops the charts. So
yeah.
It's still making tons of money, and I'm still watching it. I don't know about you, but
yeah, I'm still watching it. As far as other TV shows, I'm behind on Happy, but I was mistaken. I thought it was only going for 4 episodes. It's not. It's actually going to be an ongoing.
I got behind on Happy too. I need to catch up.
Not to say that it's not a great show. I think it's a fantastic show.
No, life just gets in the way.
Yeah, life does. Anyways. So we're gonna cut to a little interview here with a very well known comic writer.
Yeah, we'll be right back. All right, everybody, and we're back, and we have an awesome guest with us this week. A man who has worked on so much stuff, including the WWE comics, G.I. Joe, Kong on the Planet of the Apes, Rocko's Modern Life, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, including so much more, and awesome creator-owned stuff like Tiger Lawyer, Brother James, and D4VE. Welcome, Ryan Ferrier.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We gotta stop for a second. Did you say Tiger Lawyer? Because that didn't come up when I was doing my research. What the?
Yeah, that was actually like one of my first comics. I haven't touched that one in a while, but that was kind of like a 3-issue thing I did, like self-published way back in the day. And it still pops up from time to time.
That was one of those things that when I saw it on your website, I was like, I need to read Tiger Lawyer.
Yeah, it's I know, like, it's on Comixology, but that was when I was first starting to do cons, and so the only like copies of it were the ones that I would pay and print up to get printed up. So they're long out of circulation now.
Damn, I'm on the dark or the black market.
The black market, yeah, the black comics market.
They're going for like $200 on eBay right now.
the deep dark web.
Printed. That's all. I didn't even catch that when I was doing. I did a little bit of research here. I actually am reading Kong of the Planet of the Apes, it's been fantastic. I mean, like, what's better than having Planet of the Apes is just adding another giant monkey into the mix.
Yeah, it seems like a total no-brainer. I'm surprised.
I know. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. And it's probably after this. I think it's going to be a movie. I could just see this happening at some point.
That would be nice. I would definitely be hired as a consultant. I come pretty cheap, so
I'm surprised nobody's come up to you about it.
Yeah.
When that was announced, me and the owner of our comic shop were talking about it, and we're like, "Oh man, it's Kong and the Planet of the Apes," because we're both huge Planet of the Apes fans. And he looks at me and goes, "This could either be very bad or extremely awesome." And thankfully, it came out extremely awesome.
I think that's that's my one fandom is Planet of the Apes. Like, everyone's got their biggest love, and for me, it's always been Planet of the Apes. So I actually felt more nervous starting this one. Like, it's my dream job to write Planet of the Apes, and so yeah, I'm just, it's been way more nerve-wracking than anything I've ever worked on before, just because I don't want to mess it up, and for me the stakes have never been higher as far as what kind of license work I want to write. So it's still I just finished the final issue 2 days ago, and
oh man.
And it's even by the 6th issue, it's so nerve-wracking still, trying to get it right and do it justice, for me.
I was going to talk about that too, because I mean, you have you have your own stuff. We'll definitely talk about Hot Damn and Dave, but the properties, I mean, especially Planet of the Apes and stuff like that. There's got to be more weight to it, because it's people have expectations for these types of properties, right? So it has to be a little more nerve-wracking to just get into it and be like, oh man, people care about Planet of the Apes, and not that they don't care about your other books. I'm not.
No. It's totally. It's got its own built-in, very passionate audience, and so yeah, it's and there's, especially with Apes, there's so many different characters that have really different motives and beliefs, and that plays really all heavily into how they coexist. And so, especially with the Kong on the Planet of the Apes, we're touching on a lot of stuff that is really important to both properties. Their belief systems and the concepts of religion and how that plays out against science and stuff like that, and these crooked politicians. And so there's a lot of different spinning wheels that are all it's like a big patchwork of gears, and they're all made of very delicate stained glass, and it has to be perfect. You have to get it right, but you also don't want to just bring it crashing down.
Well, and you've done a great job in the first 2 issues, because we have the 3rd one coming out this week, of really just getting the ending to the issue perfect. Because I remember at the end of the first issue, I was excited for the second. Now the second one's done, I'm so excited for the third. Just getting all that together and leading us into one path, and then kind of being and here's the next one.
Right.
Has been really great. And just getting the characters from the classic Planet of the Apes, which I've been loving what everyone's been doing with Planet of the Apes over there.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that a lot. And that's something that we really wanted to keep really at the forefront of our minds, because we want it to. It's a 6-issue series, and we want every issue to be impactful. We don't want to have to be this real long slow burn that you get a payoff at the end. Every issues, we want it to have that kind of pulpy serialized kind of vibe to it, while also servicing the bigger story. And like, I'm just blown away with like working with Carlos and Alex, the artist and the colorist on that. Like, they're just, I look at their work and I'm like, I can't believe that I even wrote a script.
Yeah, I mean, it is really good art. We talk about on here a lot when we get artists on here. It's I mean, what brings people to a book initially is like, I mean, especially if they don't know anything about it, is the art. So for your own properties, like, do you go out and specifically find artists, or are you just like, do you know people that you just want to work with, or like for Hot Damn and stuff? How did that happen?
I feel like with my creator-owned stuff, it's a bit more collaborative. Not to say that licensed work isn't collaborative, because it absolutely is. But I think with creator-owned, there's a bit more. I want to have a real close creative relationship with the artist, and it's, when you're doing creator-owned work, it's such a personal endeavor that you want to really connect with that person. You don't want to just have like hired hands and kind of two ships in the night kind of thing. So it's really important to me that there's like a real connection there, and like how we're approaching the work and how we work together. And I like to give absolutely artists like as much control creatively as they want and are comfortable with. So, and I mean, comics is really, it's a community for the creators. So there's, it's you're working with your friends all the time. And a lot of it's also serendipitous, you know. But I absolutely do keep like a list of people that I want to work with, and there's so many of them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Back to Kong really quick. Issue 2 of Kong, I kind of find it ironic that it was like the cliffhanger was in the middle of the issue. Then the issue still ended on a cliffhanger. I was like, damn it. And I was going to ask you, like, oh man, we got to get some insight on what's going to happen in the third issue, but I think I can wait till next week for it to come out.
It's going to be crazy. I actually just looked at the lettering proof for the 4th issue last night, and like, it's even crazier than the 3rd issue. It just gets so insane.
So I guess, like, how do you get approached about these properties? I mean, is there like some type of survey? It's like, how much do you know about G.I. Joe? Okay, you're in. Like, how much do you know about Planet of the Apes? Or
it's different. It always comes from like an editor that I worked with, or you know, someone knowing me, kind of reaching out and being like, hey, do you want to pitch on this? A lot of times, you know, I like, you nurture and you develop these close relationships with editors for years, so they kind of get to know you, and they know your strengths and what you like and stuff like that. I've had it before where someone's asked me to pitch on something and I don't know the property at all, and it's just like, oh, well, you know, this is interesting. In the case of Kong Apes, it was my editor Daphne at Boom, and I've worked with her for years. She was my editor on Sons of Anarchy, and we work together on Power Rangers now. And so she's a massive Planet of the Apes fan too. And we had talked about it for years, about how much we both geek out about Planet of the Apes. So that was kind of one of those things. Very grateful for it, but it was it was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know Chris is a way bigger fan of Planet of the Apes than I am. I just went into it because I was like, you know, oh man, Giant Monkey and Planet of the Apes. Like, some of these crossovers, I just like can't say no to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and that's kind of like, I wanted to keep that in mind too. That just the high concept of it alone.
Yeah.
Even if all your knowledge of King Kong and apes is just kind of surface knowledge, like,
yeah. And that's what it is for me. And I still haven't been lost already. Like, I can understand, okay, well, these guys are scientists.
Right.
You know, some have more religious beliefs than others. So yeah, I mean, you could certainly relate to all the characters and stuff. It's pretty awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
So the book I originally had messaged you about that I really wanted to talk to you about was you were doing the Rocko's Modern Life comic.
Yeah.
Which I grew up, Rocko's Modern Life was like my cartoon growing up. It was the first thing I ever drew and all that. So
yeah,
that book in particular I wanted to talk about. But first, before I do that, I've had a question in my brain all week. Now,
cool.
Kaboom has the Nickelodeon license and is doing all these Nickelodeon books. So, you know the people at Kaboom. Has anybody approached Grant Morrison about doing an Our Real Monsters comic?
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Oh my god.
Not that I'm aware of, but I think that if there is an Our Real Monsters comic, I won't read it unless Grant Morrison writes it.
Holy shit.
That's been stuck in my brain all week. It's like, oh my god, how awesome would that be?
He would make them like aliens from a fifth dimension that's like a figment of our imagination. Like in a pocket universe in some little child's bedroom or something like that.
They were conjured by like a magic sigil, and they like
yes. But it would all come back full circle by like the last issue. Oh man, that's actually that's good. I like that. I haven't heard that yet, Chris.
So you seem to me, from the research I've done, you seem to be about the same age as Mike and myself. So did you grow up watching Rocko's Modern Life?
I did, yeah. I'm Canadian, so we didn't have like a Nickelodeon channel. We just got like the cartoon channel that would feed in Nickelodeon stuff. But yeah, I was pretty addicted to cartoons growing up. That was my bread and butter. Rocko's was really big for me. Ren and Stimpy was really huge for me. Like that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay.
So I know a lot of you with this book. Was it a big deal?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I was like, I have to get this. Yeah. That's just too much fun.
And I love who's doing the art. Ian McKinley.
Oh, he's fantastic. Yeah,
he's been doing amazing on the art too. So when you were approached with this book, or when you pitched it, did the upcoming movie have anything to do with what's going on, or were they just like, we need Rocko's book, and what's your pitch?
I actually didn't know about the movie. I think they might have when I was pitching on it. I don't know if that movie was announced yet. So, but no, there's no connection to the movie or anything like that, and our editorial works with Nickelodeon pretty closely, but for the most part, they're super cool about what we're doing, and I mean, we don't want to go too crazy in a way that they wouldn't be cool with it. So I think everyone that's working on it is like super in harmony with it, and it's been real nice. I do know that Ian, the artist on the Rocko's comic, he actually just got a job animating or doing storyboards at Nickelodeon.
That is awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, I think he's been there for like a month or less. Like, so
I mean, that's like that's got to be the dream job, though. Like, oh man, like I can't say no to drawing a Nickelodeon book for like Rocko's, and then they're like, well, why don't you just come animate for us? It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, it's totally wild. Yeah, it's a pretty small world. He's not working on the Rocko's revival. I know that much. But that's still pretty cool. I think that's one of his dream jobs, so I'm proud of him.
That's good for him.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So this book, like, how far into it are you? Like, is this gonna be going on for a while, or is this a limited?
I'm told it's an ongoing. So, in terms of comics that are ongoing, however long that goes, I hope it stays going forever because it's amazing and fun to write. I'll be starting the 5th issue script shortly. So we're doing it in 2-issue arcs. So every 2 issues is its own story. So with issue 3, it'll be the start of a new 2-issue story. That's the format that we're kind of going with it right now.
Cool.
So how do you like? We get a lot of writers and artists on here, and I try to get a couple questions in here where we like approach, I guess, the process of I don't know, making a book. But for you, I mean, you have such variety on here. It's like how do you get in the mood to? Is it just like the mood hit you just to write? Okay, maybe I should write a little more for Kong right now, or like, oh, I feel like writing Rocko today, or does it just like you have it scheduled out? It's like, okay, I need to get this done. Yeah,
I mean, it's luckily it's pretty much dictated for me based on my deadlines. Like the last 6 months have been so crazy busy, which is great, but I haven't been able to really like. I haven't had to be like, well, what am I going to work on today? It's just kind of like, oh shit, this needs to happen now. Sorry,
I got
is that bad?
No, that's fine. Yeah, you're completely Go ahead.
Yeah, so luckily it's just been like, oh, this has to get done, so I got to do it. I think this year, because last year was a lot of license work for me, so this year I'm getting back into creator own in a really big way, and so I'm finding that exact situation coming up where I'm like, hey, well, which creator own do I want to do? Because am I going to do like the more weird, funny one, or am I going to do the more serious, dark one? And so it depends on a lot of mood. Contrary to what people might think, the worse mood I'm in, the more funny my work is, or the more like work I want to do. So yeah, if I'm ever really hilarious, you're like, oh, Ryan's like super funny today. Like, I need help at that point.
Yeah, someone call. Send help to his apartment.
Somebody give Ryan a hug.
That was that tweet was hilarious. We should probably go show up at his apartment.
Someone call the cops. Hurry. That's pretty awesome. And like, since you've been doing these, I mean, you get a fan base from your creator owned stuff, but the other properties like Kong and Rocko's, are you getting people like approaching you like, hey man, like what kind of feedback are you getting from this, if you've gotten any at all? Or
yeah, it's fantastic. I haven't done any cons since Kong or Rocko's came out, so I haven't had too much like fan interaction. It's all been peers that are like, I'm a huge Apes fan, or I'm a huge Rocko's fan. But I think with like doing shows and stuff, especially when I started doing Ninja Turtles stuff, you get a lot of cool fans coming out, like, and they're very into it. Like I like Sons of Anarchy was a niche series, and I can tell when a Sons of Anarchy fan is going to talk to me, because they kind of like we all kind of look the same. We all got tattoos and like
they walk up with like a leather vest on,
like lots of denim and
Hell's Angels.
I'm like, I know where this is going to go, and like and that was really great, and they're really awesome people. And then as soon as I did the Turtle stuff and the Power Ranger stuff, that's when you get into like the next level of fandom, where it's like, whoa, these fans are intense, like in a great way, not at all. Like they're awesome, and
it goes to like, I mean, we talk about it in the comic shop all the time. It's like there's a comic for everybody out there, and especially with like Turtles too. Turtles is just one of those properties that's like, you get a guy walking into a comic shop, he won't even touch Marvel or DC stuff, but he just wants every Turtle book ever. And like on his full list, and that's it.
Massive fan base. It's super cool. It's real nice.
So speaking of cons, do you have anything planned? And we're kind of in the down season right now, but last couple years have been pretty convention heavy for me, and I'm going to take a little bit of a break this year. It's a good chance I'll do Emerald City in March, which is coming up, and I'll probably for sure do New York. Right now, those are the only two. I might even take a break from my local show, or some Canadian ones, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I get really intense last year, so I'm like, I need to chill out a little bit. And I know it's like Chris and I we've been to several different cons now, big and small, but like when I don't know how you feel about New York, but when I go to New York now, it used to be like, I mean, a few years ago, you could go and everybody was there for like the TV show panels and stuff, and Artist Alley and that. It wasn't too crazy, but up until like last year, I went and it was like nonstop craziness. I mean, like the lines to get autographs from people is crazy. I mean, it's got to be great for you guys, because it's like so many people are coming in there now, and it's just bigger and bigger every year. Yeah, for sure. I did New York just in October, and it was I was just wandering around. I didn't have a table, so I was like, I'm going to do the networking thing where I just talk to people all day. And it was kind of a nightmare. Like, it was really hot in there, and I was sweaty, and you couldn't really move. It was much bigger than I thought, but I mean, it was a blast. It was an absolute. I had a great time. So. Yeah, it's especially bringing someone to the first con for the first time. It being New York is like overwhelming for them. So that was my first time in New York too. So I was just kind of I was like, I got to get some pizza and I got to ride the subway. And like, the experience, like, why does it smell bad everywhere? Everywhere smells so bad,
like rats and cockroaches. But I love it. I love New York.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Chris, do you have any more questions?
I mean, other than you, do you have anything else that's announced right now? I know you got the two.
I'm doing G.I. Joe versus the $6 Million Man.
What?
Yeah, it's been a really okay. So I got this. Real,
I just hold on a second. We got to talk about this because it's like these properties, like $6 Million Man, goes back to what, like the 80s, right? And then
it's like the 70s.
The 70s. I don't even. That's not even accessible like on Netflix or anything. And then it's like, and then you have to like go back and find the VHSs to be watching these episodes. It
was a very vocal group of $6 Million Man fans that were just like, we need it. So yeah, that was
this is awesome.
Yeah, so they IDW was like, hey, do you want to do this book? And I was like, yeah, I do actually, because that sounds ridiculous. And so like I've been I wanted to get into a very specific mindset for that book. And they were like, hey, well, we want it to really feel like the Real American Hero Larry Hama stuff. And like, I love Larry Hama. I love his G.I. Joe work, which he's been doing for like decades now. And so like we really want to challenge that. That's the kind of lens that we want to look at this crossover with. And I was like, okay, cool. So I've been really approaching it like, what was it like when I was a kid and I had the toys and I was playing with G.I. Joe? That's kind of what we're doing with This Way Around. Like, it's ridiculous. It's over the top, super fun and like campy and funny and like. So it's pretty great, and I think that the $6 Million Man element's pretty interesting. Spoiler alert: he like $6 Million Man right away gets captured by G.I. Joe or Cobra, and they just brainwash him. So he's just like this.
I was gonna say, is it like gonna be a Winter Soldier type of deal?
It's like a Winter Soldier type deal. And so basically he just goes and destroys planes and German suplexes people, and it's a lot of fun.
That's true.
All I ever think about when I hear $6 Million Man anymore is that Family Guy skit. They're like, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. But I don't want to spend a whole lot of money.
I don't want to spend that much money.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans, like, this is going to be great for them because they probably haven't had anything in, like, years to, like, relate to if they're still loving that show, so...
For sure. And I mean, G.I. Joe fans are very much like the Turtles fans. They're super passionate and really into it. So I hope they dig it too. It's set in the 70s, so it's got a real kind of throwback vibe. And S.L. Gallant's doing the art on it, and it looks like, you know, a real classic G.I. Joe story. So it's good times. I'm enjoying it.
I'll have to check that out because, like, as much as these books are great because like campy types of books are great because we read so much serious stuff all the time. Like, I mean, Batman. I mean, everybody reads Batman. It's like that's so serious all the time. All the DC stuff is always so serious, and then like all these like Boom is definitely one of the publishers that does it. They'll take chances and do something really campy or like over the top. And this G.I. Joe thing for IDW is it's gonna be awesome.
It's been fun to work on too. Like at the same time, when I was doing writing that series, I was writing a creator-owned series that was super intense and heavy and dark and like dealt with a ton of symbolism and themes and stuff. So I found that I like focusing on that so much, and then jumping over to like the G.I. Joe stuff or Rocko's. It was a real palate cleanser. So that was kind of, I think it kept me sane for a little bit, which is good.
that is cool. So I got to be honest, I haven't read like Hot Damn or Dave yet because I only know you from the Karna, the Planet of the Apes. But now that I've seen all this other material, I got Hot Damn on the way, and then Dave I'm going to be checking out too. But are these like? Well, I guess you have. I need to find Tiger Lawyer somewhere now that I heard about that. But can you give us like Hot Damn just looks over the top? Can you give us like a rundown about that? What is
for
that?
Sure. Me and the artist Valentin Ramon, we did the Dave series, and he and I just have this like real weird, way too uncannily similar connection. We think the same. We're both real twisted in our sense of humors and our sensibilities for how we want to work. So when we connected on Dave, it was just like instantly like, okay, this is a perfect pairing. And then so after the second, we did the 2 volumes of Dave back to back, and then we in between the second and third volumes, we wanted to do something a little different. Just kind of take a break, a palate cleanser, again, if you will. And so we had this concept for Hot Damn, which is a very mature reader's book. It's super filthy and blasphemous and not for kids at all. And, essentially it's about this dude who was terrible in his life, and he dies and goes to hell. And hell is this like realized city, and the whole concept of hell being that it's essentially you have to go to therapy every single day, and you have to confront your sins. And so you actually fully realize them, but you can never get atonement. You can never get relief from it. So you're just living with your sins forever through these awful therapy sessions. And so the main character, it's, you know, he is a shitty guy, and he can't handle that. He can't handle the fact that he is shitty, and he wants to kind of make that atonement. So he uses a series of possessions to try and make up for his wrongs.
Yeah. And I got like I'm like a few pages in right now to the trade, and I just like the whole idea. It's like, oh, he's in hell, but he's like, you know, he's walking around a city that's just I mean, like something you'd see in the U.S., but that's a cool take on the whole situation, and how you don't just go to a fiery pit, right? You're supposed to, you got to relive these things like mentally. You have to deal with it, like you have to, for sure. Which is probably more torturous. Some people would think that, like, you know, getting like tied up and like beat the crap out of, you know. So I think it's a really cool take on it.
And for a lot of the people in hell, in Hot Damn, they love it. It's awesome because it's like, you get to eat fast food and smoke pot and go to sex clubs all the time. Like, so it's this real weird, but it's also the same in heaven. Like, that's one thing that we were really interested in doing with Hot Damn, is kind of exploring like the business models of heaven and hell. And like, it's the same thing in heaven. Like in heaven, in the book, all the angels smoke pot. Yeah. Because that's, if you went to heaven, that's like, and you smoke pot, you'd be like, oh, this is a good thing, and I love this. So it's, so it's kind of like, it's all perspective in a lot of ways.
Yeah, so I live in Massachusetts, so everybody's going to be smoking pot pretty soon in July. So it's going to feel like heaven on the streets, I tell you.
And smell like hell.
Yeah, exactly. And then Dave too. So are these books? These books are separate, right? They don't really cross over at all, or
they don't cross over. Dave's its own thing. And yeah, we did the first the first volume, which is just called Dave. And yeah, people dug it so much that they let us do another one. And then, then we decided to wrap the series with the third and final, which was called Daveocracy. That was the the final thing, and that was very much inspired by kind of the political storm that y'all have been enduring for the last while.
Yeah. It's been somewhat of a storm. It's funny too, because I work with people at my job. I work with people over in Canada too, and they're just like what's going on over there? I wish I knew.
Yeah, well, we're seeing a lot of kind of the ripple effect goes. Like, I'm not saying that Canada's at all in stressful situations.
Hey, you guys still have poutine over there, so it's it's gotta be.
But we're getting a bunch of like politicians kind of coming out of the woodwork trying to be like our version of Trump.
Oh, okay.
And
interesting.
And I mean, depending on your POV, that's either good or bad, but it's of note.
And it's I will say this, like them or hate them, it's made for a lot of good material for writers, like any type of medium, like any type. I mean, I've seen almost every medium touch upon. I mean, TV show with SNL, I've seen it in almost every like comic book company that Image Comics, Boom, everybody, DC, I mean Marvel. I've seen them touch on it or make a reference to it at some point. I mean, like right now, especially for DC, the Doomsday Clock's going on, and they're like, okay, the end of the world, Trump's president, and it's like they're like integrating it into every book, like, you know, it's interesting. But so like when do you decide, or do you just like have the feeling to be like, okay, maybe I should make this a little more like when you're writing something? Like maybe I should make it a little more political twist, or should I make a reference to what's going on today? Like when does that feel all right in a book? I guess.
I tend to not try to focus too much on making something fit into something else. So like my stuff's really, I try to keep it really genuine and honest. I do think that all of my work, even if it's Ninja Turtles, even if it's G.I. Joe, even if it's the creator-owned stuff, like there is a lot of me in there, and I think it's very important for me when I do my work to be honest and put my life experiences in there and actually have themes and symbols that resonate beyond a fantasy story. It's sometimes it comes out a little bit more, and some projects kind of dictate having a little bit more of those themes, and others don't. But it certainly all depends on what I'm going through and everything like that. Like, and I find it really interesting that I'm surprised sometimes by how much of me can go into a book. Like Rocko's Modern Life is a great example of it looks funny and it looks silly and it's really bright and goofy. But that could be some of our most honest work today, like because it's really relevant to our lives. Like I like to think that they asked me to pitch on it not because they know I was a huge fan, but they're like, because Ryan's a 35-year-old guy who lives alone, and he's like and he's like a day away from having a breakdown. So let's get into it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so in a way, it serves me very well to be the person I am, because that informs a lot of the work, which I'm pretty happy about.
That's awesome. Cool. So besides the G.I. Joe stuff, is there anything else you got coming up, or can we expect some more like creator-owned stuff from you think?
Yeah, so I'm doing I got the G.I. Joe, and I've got I'm doing another year of the Power Rangers backup series.
Oh, okay, awesome.
It's super fun. I'm doing, I don't know if, I guess I can talk about it. I'm joining Batman Ninja Turtles 2 as a co-writer, starting with issue 3.
Oh, snap!
Yeah, so that's been fun.
Chris loves that.
I've been loving that series.
Oh yeah, I mean, that was the only way I would read Ninja. I mean, like, I understand the fan base for Ninja Turtles is not for me, but like, I read almost every Batman book, so that was the book that like you put Batman and Ninja Turtles, I'm gonna read it. Oh yeah, and James Tynan is killing it. Freddie Williams is like his work is unbelievable. So that's been really cool. I think the first issue that I worked on is next week. And then I do have a bunch of creator on this year that most of it I can't talk about. I've got I have a graphic novel and a miniseries coming out at Dark Horse in the early fall, late summer. But I can't really talk about those yet. Okay. I don't think. Super secret stuff.
Yeah, and then I got 2 or 3 more creator-owned series that I'm kind of just dotting the I's and crossing the T's on.
I mean, you're not busy at all. It sounds like
I'm luckily keeping pretty busy. So yeah, I'm very.
That's awesome too. So I mean, at what point like you started writing stuff and it just kind of like took off, and then now like you got approached by Boom and like Dark Horse and all this stuff. Like, what do you think at that point? Is like, oh man, like this is actually becoming a thing, right? It's like.
Yeah, well, I quit my day job like 3 years ago and went full-time writing. And before that, I'd been writing, like, I'd been doing, day job and then comics. I'd been doing it for about 5 to 6 years. And it wasn't until I quit my day job that I was like, oh, okay, this is like I'm actually a comic writer now. And
like, this is my profession. That's got to feel awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrifying and it has its ups and downs, but but there's also like at the same time you kind of have in the back of your head this voice that's just like, I think every creator has it, where it's just kind of like, hey, you suck, you're not good, you're gonna fail, and this isn't gonna last 6 months, and you're gonna be like dusting your resume off. So it's good motivation, and I mean, yeah, to this day, like if I'm lucky enough to work for another 20 years, if I'm still alive, then I will still be like, holy shit, this is my dream job. I can't believe this is happening. Like,
yeah,
it's real cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Well, congrats to you, man. It's been well deserved. I mean, the Kong thing got me reeled in to read more stuff. So you did it right. That's for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So we know you got the 2 books coming out this week. Everybody keep up with Kong and the Planet of the Apes, Rocko's Modern Life, and if they want to know where to find you so they can find out when those Dark Horse books are coming out, where would they go?
You can find me on Twitter, which is where I'm most active. My handle is Ryan Writer, all one word. Or you can find me at ryanferrier.com. Has all my stuff.
I'm surprised Ryan Writer wasn't taken. That's pretty clever.
Yeah, some chump took Ryan Ferrier on Twitter, and he doesn't even use it.
Wow,
I know.
What a jerk.
Yeah,
I think Ryan Writer's better though.
Yeah,
I think that's a better choice.
Yeah.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for being on the show. This is great.
Yeah,
thank you
so much.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with all your future endeavors, and we're gonna keep reading them.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks.
All right, we're back.
Wow. Hey. Yeah, that was such a great interview. Oh, man, I can't. Chris and I, you probably didn't hear us speaking too much. We kind of just let Ryan do all the work there because what a fascinating guy. We got to have him back on the show. But I mean, this is the first time like I'm interviewing someone and I'm just like, I got so excited about all these things. I want to ask questions. We probably could have kept him on here for a couple hours. Man.
Yeah, and once we find those copies of Tiger Lawyer,
yeah, we're reviewing it. I can't find it, but when I do, it's going down.
We'll find it, Ryan. We're finding Tiger Lawyer.
We're gonna find it. So let's cut into the good old comic book news, huh?
Yeah,
the heart
comics.
The comics, the heart and soul of actually, stop right there. You know. What we should do is when you do the whole comics, I think you should take that and cut that into the intro of the show, because that we can market that is what I'm thinking. The comics, that sounds pretty good. I'm just gonna write that down for your show notes for what we could do. Chris is a very technical guy. If I ask him to do something like that, he could probably make it happen. He's got the magic to piece it all together.
It's comics.
Yeah, they're like, wow, who is that individual you paid millions of dollars to do that intro? It's like, no, it's just Chris. Like,
I'm just talented.
Who knew? Who knew he was so talented? Anyways,
propane accessories.
Okay, comics. So, Gail Simone is going to be writing a Domino solo ongoing comic book. What do you think about that?
Aren't you excited?
If I remember, Domino was that movie with Mickey Rourke, and it was right. Holy crap! I'm pulling this out of my ass right now because I remember early 2000s, I believe.
I pulled this out because it's huge news. I'm not a Domino fan either. Domino's kind of like the female Deadpool or Harley Quinn, and but what's big here is that Gail Simone is going to be writing for Marvel for the first time in 15 years. She's been over at DC for that long.
That's true. Yeah, that's probably the bigger news. I mean, everybody knows Gail Simone for like stuff she's done with Atom, Batgirl, all that stuff. But now, I wonder what that means for the DC stuff. But I was right. There was a movie in. Hold on, we're going back. We're going 2005. Oh, where did I call Domino? With Mickey Rourke and Keira Knightley. Yes.
Jesus.
Yes. So like it's her life story and she's like she becomes a bounty hunter with Mickey Rourke. Dude, that's actually a pretty good movie. Anyone that hasn't seen it, watch that movie and maybe you'll be excited. I don't know if they're related at all to the comic book, but it's about a girl named Domino who kicks ass. So there you go. That's your little piece of information. 2005, Mickey Rourke. I just know this because I've seen like every movie with Mickey Rourke in it.
And that's Mike's thing that happened. I don't know.
Yeah. We gotta work on that. You gotta work on that. Conan the Barbarians coming back to Marvel in 2019, which probably means that they're just not selling issues. What is it, Dark Horse right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's got to be a fan base for it, though. You would think, right?
There's a huge fan base for it, and what's big here is that that's now the second giant property that Marvel has taken from Dead Horse in the past couple of years. First,
Dead Horse.
Did I say Dead Horse? Dark Horse.
You keep taking these properties. It's gonna be a Dead Horse.
Yeah, but
oh no.
We all remember a few years back they took a little known property called Star Wars, and now they're taking Conan. So it's a big deal, and shameless plug, but I did a Chris's Comics Corner on it every Friday, Fortress Comic News. But one of the things I stated was that I think they need to kind of now double down on creator own because they keep losing their properties. And you just listened to Ryan say that he has 2 going to Dark Horse soon, so it seems like they're doing that. But yeah, it's huge. And one of the images showed Conan standing there with Thor and Wolverine. So
I was just gonna say that, they have the opportunity to do these crossovers with other characters, right? And what do you think? Are they gonna make him like an Inhuman or a mutant or something like that? Or
I doubt it. I think it'll be its own thing, and they'll just do crossovers. Kind of basically what Dark Horse, Dead Horse, does with it now, which is they do the books and then every once in a while, right now, you got Wonder Woman and Conan crossing over. So
what DC does with He-Man, right? Remember they had the crossover, Masters of the Universe versus the Justice League and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I bet you'll get a Conan versus the Avengers book or something like that.
Yeah, and they get transported back in time, or what I want to see is Marvel make, if anybody has the money to make the King Conan movie, which I thought was still in the works with Schwarzenegger, it's got to be Marvel. They got the money to do it, even if the movie bombs. I just want to see. I want to see old jacked Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Conan one last time.
There was rumors years back that he was signed on to do that. And I remember being so excited because the idea of King Conan, first, doing King Conan, and then second, bringing Schwarzenegger back to do the role that kind of started everything.
And everybody knows the Conan movie with Jason Momoa. Nobody really cared about that one.
Was that Jason Momoa?
Do you remember they tried to reboot Conan with Jason Momoa?
One.
Yeah, and who else was in it? Hellboy himself. Yeah, Jason Momoa and Hellboy.
Perlman?
I can't think. Ron Perlman. Yeah, he was in it too. But, anyways, so that's happening. I'm sure Marvel knows what they're doing. They're a big enough company. So, speaking of knowing what they're doing, there's a rumor out that after Invincible's done, the artist Ryan Otley is going to go over to Marvel.
Yeah.
Which Chris can't even conceal the smile on his face.
So
that this is happening.
So yeah, there were rumors that he would do one of 3 books, and I'm zoning on the 3rd one right now. But I remember it was Spider-Man, Avengers, and then some other. And the idea of him jumping onto Spider-Man is kind of a really cool idea. Might actually get me to read Spider-Man.
He has the perfect art for Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it would be awesome.
I don't think he would be a good fit for Avengers. The only thing is I've only really seen Otley ever do Invincible, so I don't know how far he can stretch or what he like. I know he's an amazing artist for Invincible, and that's not taking anything away from him. It's just he's been doing it for so long that I think in my head and probably a lot of people's head, he's kind of put in a box, and I would like to see him do something different and.
He did Grizzly Shark. He wrote and drew Grizzly Shark.
Oh, did he?
And yeah, it's a lot of fun to read and stuff. But when you see the faces of the people, you kind of you kind of think back to Invincible just a little bit. But I think he could do. I mean, we know he could draw heroes. I think it'll be a nice twist because I mean, there's probably a lot of Marvel fans out there that have never read Invincible, so I think it'll be a nice art style for them to enjoy.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a Greg Capullo kind of situation where he's done this book forever and he's kind of ready to quote unquote sell out and go do something big and get his paycheck. And I don't blame him, and I'd do the same thing if I was him. And I hope he does amazing work because he's most likely going to be working on stuff that I'm very close to. So, but we'll see what happens. It's still just a rumor. Nothing's ever been for sure.
All right, let's talk about what we're reading. I had Mr. Miracle this week. It was a great issue. It was kind of just a back and forth of him and Big Barda of like their relationship, and he finds out that she's pregnant, but like what was happening was they're coming to execute Mr. Miracle, some of the new gods, and they basically Big Barda kills them and says, "No, you're not executing him." And so the whole issue is them going back to the new Allfather, who is Orion. Orion is that. He's like in charge now, and they're fighting their way to go talk to him, and they're basically just like arguing about what to do with like the new living room in the house, and where to move all their stuff out of the closet, like rearranging the house that they have. And it's like them back and forth, like while they're killing people and like breaking into the throne room. And then the end of the issue, he's finally going to go talk to Orion. He's going to try to talk about the situation rather than get murdered. So I don't know. It's good. It's been fantastic. Tom King is just the bomb.
I hear he writes good books.
Yeah. Anyways,
that's all you had?
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I've been reading. I got some stuff behind on, but I've been reading Martial Law, which has been crazy. It's a book by DC that I ended up picking up the hardcover edition, and it's really interesting. Like the city's kind of divided, and it's basically Judge Dredd. Like if Judge Dredd had to like keep superheroes in line, and the superheroes that can fly are very special. There's only like 4 or 5 that can fly. Like that's not just a power that you have. It's really interesting so far. It's a pretty great read. It's nothing like I've ever read before, especially from DC back in the day. It's pretty cool. So Martial Law, if anybody wants to check it out.
Sounds interesting. So I'll do quick hits. I got Rocko's Modern Life issue 2. It's been fantastic. We talked a lot about it during the interview.
Yep.
Cosmo #1. So this is by Ian Flynn at Archie Comics. Ian Flynn did the Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man book forever. This is an old, like, all ages sci-fi series of a group of aliens who are off to save the universe. It was a lot of fun, colorful, and just good times. A nice palate cleanser for a lot of the books we read, like The Walking Dead, number 175. You didn't read this yet, right?
I didn't read it. No, I haven't read it yet.
So I won't get into too much, but they found this new society, and it's much bigger than they are. So and much more organized than they are. And there's a huge cliffhanger at the end.
Oh boy!
It kind of sucks you right back into Walking Dead. So awesome issue. Captain America 697. It's part 3 of
almost 700.
So he's fighting Kraven the Hunter, which I thought would be awesome because I love Kraven the Hunter, but he only really fights Spider-Man. And basically, all I need to know about this issue is that he fights Kraven the Hunter, he suplexes a tiger, and
what?
He literally suplexes a tiger. It's awesome. And it ends on a huge cliffhanger, like most comics do, and is going to lead into the next storyline, which I'm really looking forward to.
So, who is this villain that he was fighting, though? I mean, what? Like,
you don't know Kraven the Hunter?
No, I should I?
Kraven the Hunter is his kind of backstory is he's like the best hunter in the world,
Oh,
He's
okay. I think I do know this.
And then he sees Spider-Man. And he goes, "Well, that's my next challenge."
That. Yeah,
and he just becomes a supervillain who wants to hunt people.
I think I remember him from one of the cartoons. He must have been in one of the cartoons.
Yeah, he's been in so many of the cartoons.
Okay.
Avengers, number 675. Beginning of the No Surrender storyline. It's really cool because it's a giant threat that basically makes it so they have to call every Avenger that's in reserves, that's on a team, and they all have to come together. So this is them doing their weekly Avengers book that brings together all of the Avengers. And it ends with this woman showing up that we've never seen before, who's supposedly been an Avenger for as long as Iron Man and Giant Man and all these other. So I'm trying to figure out who that is. And it was teased originally in like Marvel Legacy way back when. So big storyline there. And then friend of the show, Miles Greb, has finally shipped out Espers. And I'm like, you haven't gotten yours. But it's really good. It's a really quick read. It's a lot of following the art throughout it to explain the creation of this world and these gods. I really enjoyed it. I think he just did a great job of kind of him and the artist together creating the story that just flows very well and you can go through. Highly recommend anything he does though, from after the Gold Rush to Espers to everything else. So I think that's everything for me. So Mike, where can they find you?
You can find me at Ricker621 on Instagram. I almost thought about using my Twitter today, so same thing for my Twitter, Ricker621. I think I'm gonna revive it.
I said something to you on Twitter, hoping you would see it the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Talk trash, are you?
Yeah,
I was thinking about changing my
trash.
I think I was thinking about changing my handle to Fortress Mike or Fortress News Mike, right?
Well, it depends, because if you're on Instagram, I am Fortress News Chris, but then on Twitter is Fortress Chris, because some dillhole took Fortress Chris on Instagram. That's right, I said dillhole.
What? That's right.
So remember, you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up below and subscribe to the channel, share with a friend. And if you're listening to this on iTunes or any other podcast service, review the show. And check us out, FortressComicNews.com. And if you are so inclined, Patreon.com/FortressComicNews. And
thanks, guys.
As always, enjoy them comics. And enjoy Mike looking into the distance.
Pondering life.
Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by Comics Bento. So if you've never done Comics Bento before, it's a subscription service, much like a lot of the other subscription services out there, where you pay them about $25 a month. They send you a box in the mail. You don't know what's in the box. It's a surprise when it gets there. It's really cool. Guaranteed $50 or more worth of graphic novels. So what does this mean? You're going to get awesome graphic novels from DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, so on and so forth. $25 a month, guaranteed to be worth $50. Now, how you show your support for Fortress Comic News? Go to FortressComicNews.com. You will see a logo for Comic Bento on the home page. Click on that and shop away. And you will show them that you support us here at Fortress Comic News.